Welcome back to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with Dwayne Wyckoff and Joanne Carpenter. Dwayne is CEO. Joanne is Director of Development at the Refuge of Hope, and we sure appreciate you taking some time to spend with us today. Dwayne, you've been in ministry for some time. You've been with Refuge of Hope for how long?
Started in Refuge of Hope in 2009. To be honest, had no background in any of this, and this has been a gigantic learning experience for me. Been very blessed to be able to work with Joanne, who does have a lot more experience than I did. I've learned a lot from her. I came from an industrial background and honestly thought I was early retired and just kind of living my life the way I wanted to live it, and ended up with, I feel God called me to come to Refuge of Hope, and it's been probably the best job I've ever had.
What was your introduction to it? What drew you in the first place?
Actually, I hate to admit this, but my introduction was I didn't want another full-time job, and I didn't want to, work full-time. I
hear that.
Was in kind of I was in kind of this, what I considered semi-retirement. I was doing some volunteer work for my church, and I was doing some work from the United Way, and the job opportunity was mentioned to me, and I didn't really want to do it. But I was filling out the application. My wife said to me, "I think you should do this." I was filling out the application so that I could say I applied, but I didn't get the job. And while I was filling it out, I right in the middle of it, I knew I was going to get the job.
Wow.
I just had a feeling come over me, and it's just been a wonderful experience to me, and I've learned just an unbelievable amount of things. My feelings about homeless people and people living in poverty have changed 180 degrees.
How so?
Well, you have a tendency. I used to live in Pittsburgh and in some cities and everything, and you see some of the homeless people in the streets, and it's some of them haven't showered for a long time and they're filthy, and so you just have a preconceived notion of what you think. A lot of times I had the thing, men that were homeless, they should be able to get a job. What are they doing? But when I've started working at Refuge of Hope, I realized how super wrong I was on all that stuff.
Poverty is such a vicious cycle, isn't it? It's very hard to get a job when you can't take a shower or wear something decent to an interview, and it just seems to feed on itself. How do you turn that around and get that spiral going the other direction?
Well, I think one thing, and Joanne certainly can comment, I think one thing is we, as a Christian organization, the people that come to us, whether in either ministry, we're not there to judge them. We're not there to condemn them. What we're there to do is tell them that they're loved. God loves them. We love them. The people that support us love them. We're not there to condemn or judge or criticize. And we really want to help them step up to whatever the issues are, especially the men in the shelter. Why are they homeless? Face those issues. We help them get the help that they need, and then we want them to go back out in the community and be a productive member of the community. But I think the bottom line is it's relationship building. And I know it sounds corny when I say this, but we feed the hungry and we shelter the homeless. But the most important thing that we do is try to live up to our name and be a refuge of hope to so many people in this community that have so little hope or so little of anything. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's building personal relationships and really not being judgmental, but really saying to people, God loves you, we love you, regardless of what your circumstances are today.
How did Refuge of Hope decide to focus in on the issue of homeless men? And is there any thought to expanding to women and children?
Well, we're the only men's emergency shelter in Stark County. There is shelter for women and children, but we're the only place for men. We have 34 beds. We sleep 45 to 50 guys every night. We have been occupied well over capacity for 5 years in a row. Wow. So we focus on men because there's nobody else to do it. If we weren't there, these men would be sleeping out in the street or in a truck or car or somewhere. So we do that. Now, not last winter, we did serve women. We had a temporary shelter for 4 months in the wintertime because there was no shelter for homeless women, and so we took that mantle. And again, we're always willing to do that if we need to do it.
You worry about the people that fall beneath the cracks and think, with your filling all your beds, and I know the shelters for women filling their beds, does that account for everyone, or are there still people out there on the streets?
There are some people out there on the streets, and
by choice?
A lot of times it is by choice. There are some people that no matter what their plight is in life, they don't choose to change it. At Refuge of Hope, we do have guidelines. Everyone must take a breathalyzer test, all the men, before they come in at night, before they're allowed to stay. If they have been drinking, they're not allowed to stay that night. Now, the exception to that, especially coming into the winter months, is if it's freezing outside, we're not going to turn them away that night to make another poor decision and maybe sleep out on the street somewhere. We will allow them to stay that night, but the next day they have to make other arrangements for a period of time. We want to make changes into people's lives, and they have to be willing to work to make those changes, to decide, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to use drugs. I want to reconnect with my family, my children. I want to be loved by others, and in return, I want to love appropriately back. So, yes, unfortunately, there will always be people that fall through the cracks because they make those choices to stay out there.
With as many people as you serve, there have got to be a million different reasons that led them there. Do you find any kind of a common thread and any kind of a something that they all have in common, that they reach that point saying, I'm ready to make a change and do things differently, turn this around?
Everybody's rock bottom is different. And once you hit your rock bottom, you know, I can't do this anymore. I am tired of being
You hear
alone.
that a lot, I'm guessing.
You do. And that's what they say. And when you hear that, and it's like, help me. I'm ready now, then you know that you have the opportunity to start working with them. When you start hearing excuses and it's like, yeah, I'm ready for help, but then you know that they're not quite there yet. And it may take them going a little deeper down to their rock bottom before they're ready to do that. We can't change anyone.
It's incomprehensible to think that there would be a person, or more than one person, who would say, no, I'd rather sleep outside in the sub-zero weather because I can't follow your rules. Do you get that?
We do. But if you factor in, there's many, many things to consider. If you are struggling with a mental issue,
yes,
that's probably the biggest one. A full life of maybe alcoholism or addiction, a complete life of that, and you know nothing else. You come from generational addictions, and you truly know nothing else. It takes a lot to overcome that. And there, our option is to pray, to lift those people up into prayer, and to just, in your most sincere way, just ask God to work on their hearts and ask them to come back so you can work with them.
And on the other flip side, you get to see all the success stories. You get to see people who've been there and now they are here, and help with the job, helping them get jobs and prepare for jobs and train for jobs and secure jobs. How do you do this? I mean, you've got to feel so good when your head hits the pillow at night that you've really accomplished something great.
Well, we had one recently, and it's been a lot in the paper and everything. A guy named Frank Wilkinson who came to us, and a year later walked out. He has a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. He has his own company now with more work than he knows what to do with. And so, you see Frank as the kind of the poster boy, if you will, poster man, I guess.
He's been here.
Yeah, and he's a wonderful human being. Unfortunately, we're not going to be successful every time. And so that, it hurts when you're not successful. But to see somebody like Frank get a chance to literally relaunch his life and get a second chance is very, very rewarding.
How prevalent is the veteran situation? I'm hearing more and more about veterans who are not able to get a job and ending up homeless. Is this a big problem in our area?
It is a problem in the area, and when we have a heart for veterans at Refuge of Hope, we really do. And we have veterans that stay with us on a fairly regular basis, and it is a big issue, and it's a shame because when you think of these men and women that have, literally sacrificed their families and lives to serve this country and then come back and find themselves out in the street with not a job and homeless, it's really a sad situation. But we have a big heart for veterans, and certainly we'll do everything in our power to accommodate them.
As we head into these winter months, what do you need and how can we help?
Great question. Typically, we take clothing for men, but during this time of year, we're asking for hats, coats, gloves, scarves for men, women, and children. There's nothing worse than seeing a family come in and pushing a baby in a stroller and they don't have proper clothing. And we immediately provide those needs. Warm blankets. We always need warm blankets. And we distribute those things throughout the year. We've already had one blanket giveaway this year, and we will be doing that throughout the entire year. We don't have the same dinner guests and the same people visiting us over and over, so the need to replenish stock and those items. We always need canned fruits and vegetables in the meal ministry, and that helps us to supplement the protein and the starches that we already have to give a well-balanced meal. We love to be able to serve fruit in the wintertime. It almost becomes a treat.
We also take furniture. Joanne mentioned earlier that we've had 100 men move out of our shelter. A lot of these men are moving into an unfurnished apartment. And so you can imagine if you haven't had your own place to live for 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then you get a chance on the day you walk in and open the door and look in and there's nothing there. So we collect furniture and we lamps, yes. Anything that if you were moving into an unfurnished apartment that you'd want in that apartment, we collect that and
awesome.
Try to help these men.
And again, let's give the website, refugeofhope.org, all the information there of how to go about this and follow up would be there.
Yes.
You've got we've only got like a minute left. You've got a fundraiser coming up.
We have one coming up in December 2nd, Friday night. It's going to be at the Stark State Conference Center, starting around 6 o'clock. And if anybody wants more information, we'd love to have people come. They can contact us at the Refuge of Hope, and we'll be happy to answer any questions and tell them how they can come join us that night. I think they'll find it an entertaining evening, but also an educational evening.
And let's give the number one more time for more information about your gala.
330-453-1785.
And we'll give it one more time.
330-453-1785.
Dwayne Wyckoff and Joanne Carpenter, thank you so very much for all you do in our community.
Well, thank you for having us today. We really appreciate it.